Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Tim Brooks with Worldwide Technology, and we're partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT's CDIQ program, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Mike Meriton, co-founder and COO of the EDM Council, and John Bottega, president of the EDM Council. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Thanks for joining me today. Mike, where does our interview today find you?
I am in northern New Jersey in a town called Monmouth Beach, not far away from New York City.
Wonderful. And John, where are you today?
I'm in an area that most New Jerseyans don't say exists. I'm in Central Jersey.
All right.
Where is that, John?
About a stone's throw from Princeton University, so that gives people a perspective.
It's a good neighborhood. Congratulations. It's good to be with both of you today. I'm gonna start just because you're both with EDM Council, and then we're going to get into what is Cloud Data Management Capabilities, or CDMC. But first, just for our viewers here, what is the EDM Council?
Sure, thanks for the question, Tim. So the EDM Council is a nonprofit trade association. We were founded in 2005. Our mission, we're dedicated to supporting the data professional and advocating them through a combination of standards, best practices, et cetera. And today, it's a global organization with nearly 300 companies and 10,000 professionals.
Wow, wonderful. And so then for you, John, the Cloud Data Management Capabilities, which is a mouthful, so I'm going to start calling it CDMC, okay? So what challenges is this framework solving?
I'm going to repeat the title. So the Cloud Data Management Capability Framework, it kind of explains it in that title. The objective of this model was to amalgamate best practices in the implementation, migration, and then support of data in cloud, protecting sensitive data, controlling access, et cetera. Tim, there's a very positive herd mentality, but it still exists. Everybody wants to move to cloud, right? And what is happening is it requires pretty good knowledge of how to implement an effective cloud environment. Cloud is a powerful capability, and you can see it used more and more and more. But if it's done incorrectly, it introduces risk. So what we're trying to address in this model is how to effectively create this environment, do it in a responsible and trusted manner, so that as more of our data, personal data, goes to cloud, there is confidence that that data is being properly curated and protected and used in an appropriate manner.
Thanks, John. That's a big objective. Mike, to you. So how was the CDMC framework developed, and who, you've got a number of organizations, I think, that are involved in its development. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So Tim, interestingly, in March of 2020, so about a little over a year and a half ago, we were approached by a few companies at the time, notably Morgan Stanley, London Stock Exchange Group, and also Google Cloud. And they were working together on building a set of principles for trusted cloud adoption based around ideas around establishing a control framework around data risk. And so in that discussion, Google challenged saying, it's great working with you, but is it possible to approach an organization like the EDM Council that already has been building data management frameworks? We have DCAM, which is the Data Management Capability Assessment Model, that has now been in the industry for over 6 years and highly adopted by about 60% of our members. So the idea was, let's go to the council, and instead of us building this one at a time, why don't we get a group of companies to work together to build a common playbook, and hence the CDMC framework. So we figured, hey, if we had 10 or 15 companies, that would be awesome. In the course of 60 days, it ended up being nearly 100 companies came on board, 300 professionals, and then we embarked on a process for a year and a half, and a little bit because of the silver lining in light of the pandemic, that people had the time to jump onto Zoom calls instead of traveling to work, et cetera, to share, because this was a common problem shared by many companies, is how do we do this intelligently? How do we build a proper set of requirements? So after 750 meetings, 45,000 man hours, which is about 25 person years altogether. This framework has been developed and was published on the 28th of September, 2021.
Wow. So this is brand new.
Yep.
And it's the accomplishment of the cumulative effort of a lot of contributors. These contributors, correct me, and I just want to assume that these were a combination of chief data officers, cloud architects, security professionals, people involved with privacy issues, and of course, you've got the four major cloud providers. Is that a correct mix?
No, that's correct. And in sort of an unprecedented collaboration occurred. I mean, if you think we had 17 of the 30 largest financial firms in the world, so the likes of Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. In fact, Morgan Stanley donated to the effort their starting principles so that we didn't have a blank sheet of paper. But then beyond that, we had UBS, Toronto Dominion Bank, HSBC. I mean, the list was a staggeringly big list of companies that often compete. Likewise, we really wanted to see another cloud, or at least a couple of cloud companies, but the top four cloud companies worldwide of Amazon, Google, Microsoft, IBM, they all got involved and they each contributed about a half a dozen engineers into multiple meetings per week to build out a comprehensive framework that ultimately is about 165 pages long and features 14 key controls that should always be on for protecting sensitive data in cloud, hybrid cloud, and multi-cloud implementations.
That's impressive to get that many competitors to work together.
Exactly.
Highlights.
Yeah, we had to kick ourselves a few times because you'd sit in meetings and go, hey, that was the engineer from Amazon talking to the engineer from Microsoft. And then we have another opinion from IBM. And normally they highly compete, but in this world, they actually felt this was going to build a common playbook. And what was sort of neat, and this is an important fact, Tim, about the project, the framework is what is needed for good data management in the cloud, but it allows each of the companies to have their own ingenuity on how to meet that requirement. So they didn't feel they were revealing their trade secrets. They were getting a common set of requirements from industry, which is phenomenally useful to the marketplace.